and before we head on to the actual vlog, I'll be giving you an insight about what this vlog actually contains. Okay, so to start off, being a 12th grade graduating student in La Consolacion College, Pasig, we have to perform and apply crucial tasks that we must undergo, which is one of our requirements in the subject Work Immersion for the fourth quarter of the year 2023 to 2024. We were tasked to enter to the realms of the corporate world where thousands and thousands of businesses with goal-oriented people work through every second of their lives. We were also told that our workplace should preferably be nearby, approximately a few kilometers away, and the duration of working in a company based on the requirement of DepEd or the Department of Education is 10 days, or at least by accomplishing the 80-hour requirement. And in this story, I will be tagging you along with me throughout my whole experience in my beloved work immersion. Okay, so a little background information. I actually ended up landing at one of the most unexpected areas to do my internship, which has made many people doubt. It is at San Pablo, Laguna, Philippines.
Okay, now let's head on to my first day at work immersion, specifically on March 26, 2024. I call this the work ignition. So I actually woke up to the wind blowing on my ears. This is reality. This will be the start of a new experience. I went on to my morning routine, getting ready, cleaning myself, finding an outfit, doing my makeup, and having my breakfast. And as soon as I finished, I went to the office, which is only a few steps away from the house that I stayed at. I got an advanced work about the business and had some insights about how the business world works. I was told that my schedule would be from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m., lunch break from 12 noon to 1 p.m., and I could have break times whenever to ensure that my creativity juices don't run out. I entered the office quite excited and a bit overwhelmed. Their interior was spacious enough and was full of bags from left to right. All the luxuries were displayed on each wall, and I even felt like I entered a million worth of luxuries in a room. I felt belonged because the office was based on paperwork and had many things to do. I was welcomed by Mr. Reyes, the operations manager, and Ms. Denaga, the administrative assistant. I greeted them with a warm smile and a vibe of willingness to learn from their experience. I was determined to make something big because I knew that I wouldn't have a chance to give my all if I were in a different workplace. My first task was to check for defects in the new arrival bags. I was taught how to check for defects, specifically mentioning the different parts of a bag and what to call the different types of defects. Every nook and cranny of the bag needs to be checked so that when the buyer receives the bag, they are acknowledged of its condition because it is also mentioned on the post or website. Now here comes the tricky part. I already expected it, but it was quite shocking to know that I was going to do something that mattered. The next day, my second day of work immersion on March 27, 2024, I call this the presentation because I got ready and I was so pumped for this day. My creativity spark was already igniting and I made the presentation as early as possible. While doing so, there were many options and opportunities for me to make extra ideas to be pitched, and so I did. I added 2 extra ideas that could either make or break my step up to their hearts. I thought that adding more ideas would lead them to make it an option if they didn't like the first 3 plans. Now, this was totally out of my range and limits because I had to reflect on all my knowledge to make a good presentation. I accomplished making a presentation before lunchtime, and I was so relieved to have done such a big, heavy task. Around 3 p.m., I was already so nervous knowing that I would present my ideas to the whole team, even with the CEO herself. As I was pitching the ideas, I could all see them silent and focused on what I was saying, which made me realize that they were actually listening to what I was going to offer for the business. Afterward, Mrs. Reyes applauded me and told me to start on the timeline, which basically means that my ideas were all approved. In this part, I went on a little journey and headed outside their little office where they had their photo shoot production and had a treadmill. As you can see, I walked and almost fainted. I don't know why, that was only 5 minutes of me walking. Anyway, around 4:30 p.m., I was taught by their art director, Mr. Sotilio, how to photograph bags for the social media and website listings. I enjoyed how their camera works because at some point it relates to my camera. Knowing the little bits of how the camera works amazed me because I can take better photos. I was being treated as if I was a functioning legal coworker, and I appreciated that because they can trust me and my abilities. On my third day of work immersion on March 28, 2024, I proceeded with my timeline schedule, also known as the template to be followed when the whole procedure is applied. It took me the whole morning until lunchtime to make the progress with the scheduling. I found it hard because I had to double check everything that could fit into one day, especially knowing that I put myself in this pit hole. I scheduled everything, even the break times, food ordering, time of preparation, time of shooting, etc. Consequently, after lunch, I started to take photo shoots of the newly arrived bags. Now the photo shoot was harder than I thought. I realized that more elements underlie its actual capture. I had to make sure if the lighting was okay, if the bag was looking wonky, or just the whole production shoot. For my fourth day of work immersion, I call this the Superwoman. It was on April 1st, 2024, and it felt like a joke. I headed to the office in the morning and started to proceed again with the scheduling of the shooting of my pitched ideas for template making. I really tried to finish it without making my head hurt, but it went the other way around. I then proceeded with the product photo shoot. I captured hand-countable bags without the help of the mannequin, and it took me so long to accomplish them. I was told that this was not easy as I thought, and they were definitely right. You have to be a perfectionist when it comes to this part of the business. All the little dust and bits shouldn't be near or on the bag. I also wore a black glove for the preservation of the bag's condition. And then around 4 p.m. until 4:40, I was told to help with the reconciliation of incoming inventory. I helped with the double checking and everything. I was beside my colleagues at this time, trying to write down all the reconciliation of the incoming inventory or products. Afterwards, I immediately pitched the idea of the real shooting time frame to Ms. Denaga, and I had peer help because I thought that my plan was impossible. I asked the team if my plan was realistic or idealistic. Mr. Reyes gave me a few suggestions and recommendations that truly helped with my planning. I was so thankful for their help and critique because this was definitely different from the academic life. On April 2, 2024, this is my 5th day at work immersion, and I call this the preparation. I didn't really have anything scheduled for this day, which is why I brain drained myself for this opportunity because I needed to make this proper and realistically inclined. I discussed the whole plan again and had it approved by the whole team. And guess what? It was approved the second time around. I headed back home immediately to help the models pick their outfit. I assisted their proper styling for the shooting and discussed how we can incorporate the ideas with the schedule and the fitting of their outfit changes. The real shooting was scheduled the day after this, and I prepared everyone for their parts and everything that we needed. I was having my last breaths at this point because of how much I offered myself to the business. And at this point, it was just me, myself, and I was embracing the feeling of solace and quietness. I was actually just counting numbers here. I don't know why I looked so stressed, but then I looked happy again because Mr. Reyes and Mr. Sotilio offered me a Starbucks because I needed the energy. for tomorrow. So on this part, I was discussing them the whole plan and they helped me organize my stuff. And this is Mr. Sotilio, by the way. I was just chit-chatting with them the whole night to help me ease my nervousness for tomorrow. And when the day finally came, I call this the glitz and glam. It was my 6th day at work immersion on April 3, 2024. And I was totally pumped. Literally pumped because I had coffee the whole night, remember? Okay, so I headed earlier to the office with Miss Pandino to have her makeup done. I did her hair and makeup that morning, and I was fascinated to do someone else's makeup, as if I was a hired makeup artist. I thought that I could even make it my sideline since I know how to do makeup, but still needed a few more tries before making it a freelance job for myself. We actually had breakfast before doing her hair, and at this point you can see that I'm curling and putting hairspray on her hair to keep it intact. She did her eyelashes done because I'm afraid that I might poke her eyeballs. Everyone else came to the office at 8:30 a.m. and they prepared for the shooting. I was already bawling my mind through every bit of how I can manage the whole day because I was the one who planned it. In essence, the whole production shoot was overwhelming due to my first time handling such a big professional project. But I was also so grateful for the experience and enjoyed the whole process. As you can see here, I was everywhere around the office. It was hard, totally hard. I had to admit that because of the different technicalities it took my brain to process this kind of act. I will be forever grateful about this, even though this stressed me out a lot. The shooting went as planned and there were minor inconveniences, but they didn't really affect the whole plan, so that's great. So you can see here that I am showing my schedule and literally blowing my mind. But even though I look like that, I was actually so excited inside and I was mesmerized by how they shoot this kind of production. It was truly exhausting, to be honest, because of the lack of experience I have, but this made me gain a lifetime experience if I were to work in a marketing department. We were having lunch at this part, and I don't really have anything to say about this rather than we just chit-chatted the whole afternoon and rested so that we can regain our energy for the next shoot. We actually had a total of 5 shoots per video and a lot more extras for unplanned but useful clips for editing. We accomplished everything that I planned and I was thrilled to know that I did that myself. Like, go me! I was also delighted by this day because I had to witness how everything worked. I was a functioning machine the whole day and frankly enough, got drained a bit here and there, but still went on with the day. I managed to give a few break times because I know everyone else was also as tired as I am. Mr. Reyes and Mr. Sotilio approached me after the whole production shoot. I was asked if I wanted to try modeling a bag. Of course, I was surely excited and got my makeup fixed immediately. It took me around 30 minutes to get ready and prepare myself for the actual shooting. My makeup, hair, and outfit was on the spot, so I had to work with what I have. And since I've been handling the models and the team the whole day, I learned so much about how they incorporate the movements and skills needed for modeling a bag. And I was so thrilled for that moment because I really enjoyed it. I had lots of fun with the camera and showcasing the bag. The experience was a total miracle for me. It was actually somewhat a dream of mine to be able to model or at least have a peek of shooting production. I loved everything about that day, even if it was exhausting me because it truly shows that I have given all my effort. I was filled with joy and happiness throughout the whole night. I remember that I couldn't even sleep that night due to the excitement I had. I couldn't sleep. I was restless after the modeling part. The following day, I call this the editor. This is my 7th day at work immersion On April 4, 2024, I started with organizing and sorting the files from yesterday's shooting, transferring all the video clips and then sorting them out to which video or reel they belong. Once I've done them all, I attempted to edit one video. I started off with finding an audio from social media to ensure that our video won't be copyrighted and we respect the owner of the song that we are going to use. At around 3:30 p.m., I accomplished one edited video with consultation and revision. I was glad that they appreciated my work even if I found it a bit too simple, but very appropriate for the professionalism of the work. And then after this, I was given a merienda break because apparently Miss Denaga told me that I was working my butt for too long on this one. Now, the editing process was a bit too easy for me because I made simple editing clips like, wow. Give a round of applause to the smart worker, not hard worker. Now on my 8th day, I call this the live to live for. It was on April 5, 2024, and I finished all my photo shoots with the mannequin so that the other flat bag shoots can be posted to the social media accounts. At 4:30 p.m., I edited 3 more video reels and finished around 6 p.m. This day was a Friday, and usually the business schedules a TGIF live selling. The other person to flex or showcase the bag by modeling was not available at the moment, so I was tasked to be in the live at that time. We were already starting to prepare for the live show at 7 p.m. in the office. I was taught about its all-abouts and how they proceed with this type of selling. I met Miss Saisi, my co-liver. She was so sweet and I met her on the spot. We got along during the live and I laughed off some moments when I didn't know what to do. The live was also exhausting due to the part that we had to stand up and talk good blabber about the product, stating everything inside and out. We finished before 12 a.m. and I was for sure tired. I immediately went to bed after this encounter. On my 9th day at work immersion, April 6, 2024, I call this the farewell. And on this part, I'm actually showing you how I go to the office. So that was the house that I stayed at. And then I just take a few steps and up the staircase. And then afterwards, in the office. And now this is my point of view when I enter the office. This is my spot and this is the office that we stayed at. And then this is where I saw the treadmill and the photo shoot. This is the production shoot that I usually work in. And then here I am having fun and chattering with Miss Denaga. And we also bid farewell at that point, which made me quite sad. But anyways, after this, I didn't really do anything extravagant. I drafted the reels in the business's account and gave it back to my supervisor. This was a pretty chill day for me because I already finished all the big projects. I fixed everything that I needed from my supervisor so that I could go home without a doubt and worry about anything related to the work immersion needs. I finished my day off by doing these and assisting my team with their work. Additionally, I proceeded to do my last photo shoots of the products with the mannequin so that I could complete all the photos. On my 10th day at work immersion, I call this the final blast. It was on April 7, 2024. And clearly, as you can see, I'm not in the workplace or any office. This was because I was sent home after my 9th day. I bid farewell to everyone and sent them my best regards. So at this part, I was just editing the reels, finishing and accomplishing all the videos that I needed to give the business. My supervisor told me that I can still accomplish my works at home, which is also known as work from home, and they still counted this as my working hours. And here I'm just showing you how many I finished and what I was able to accomplish at that time. To conclude, I enjoyed every bit of my work immersion. I was so thankful for this opportunity and wished I could go back again. VLoved will always be my first working family, and I loved working with them. You may check their account on Facebook, Instagram, and their website at VLoved. All my efforts are also seen there with the live. I appreciate you for watching the whole video, and I guess that's a wrap. Thank you again, and bye loves!